Coming up on News 11, a fire broke out at a local motel, the first snowfall in Alberta, Canada, and a super fog caused a 158-car pileup. These stories and more, News 11 starts right now.
Good evening and welcome back to News 11. I'm Julia Skiba.
And I'm Kellyanne Hender.
We have got a lot of stories to cover this week, so let's get started. This past Sunday, students joined together for a breast cancer event while bringing a valuable source of hope and community to our campus. Students were able to tie-dye t-shirts, scrunchies, and bandanas, all while raising donations and spreading awareness. Olivia Spoler, the president of the American Cancer Society, said, quote, "It's so important that we donate so we are able to help people get the care they need and make the care better and save more lives," end quote. Proceeds are going to the American Cancer Society for research, transportation, and life-saving patient care. Donations are still open and are greatly appreciated. You can donate at the link below.
On Tuesday morning, a fire broke out at the Colony Motel on Fairmount Avenue in West Elliott. When emergency response crews arrived to the scene at around 5:30 a.m. that morning, heavy flames were present at the back of the building. The fire was rising up towards the second level. 2 victims and 2 firefighters needed to be transported to the hospital, arriving at UPMC Chautauqua. 15 other guests were displaced as a result of the fire and are currently being assisted by Red Cross and the Salvation Army. The motel itself is getting a structural demolition, which began on Tuesday afternoon. The fire is currently under investigation.
New York State has become the first in the country to mandate electric school buses. This mandate requires that by 2027, buses must be zero emissions, and by 2035, all buses need to be electric. Sweet Home School District buses around 3,600 students each day. The school has decided to get a head start on the planning process. They have 67 school buses at the moment, and they are planning to replace them. They've begun by purchasing 3 electric buses. Don Feldman, assistant superintendent of Sweet Home, said, quote, "We're taking it slow but steady, and we've jumped in with the 3 buses for next year," end quote. He expressed concerns about the affordability of the switch, building the infrastructure for the electric buses, as well as buying the buses. Many schools are hoping for grant funding through programs from the National Grid or EPA. School districts around the state have been encouraged to begin with an architectural firm to smoothen the process.
This past week, a Buffalo charter school hosted a mental health night for students and their family to help teach them how to cope with stress and mental health issues, as well as connect the parents to community resources. This event was part of the school's Mental Wellness Month and was created as school leaders saw the increased need for support for students over the past few years. The event included a chance to participate in yoga and other fitness activities and making tools such as stress balls and scented Play-Doh to help students cope with stress. Parents were also able to attend the event and hear from Charlie Peck from Thriving Educator and their community and how to help their kids manage stress. School counselor Carol Taggart said, quote, "We thought doing events like this would be really important for them to teach them some skills, teach the parents some skills and information that they could also use at home to help their kids," end quote.
All over the world, people are feeling the impact of the war between Israel and Hamas. On the University of Buffalo's North Campus, a March for Palestine was held. The march was hosted by Students for Justice in Palestine. Many alumni also participated. One student said, quote, "We have to show out and make our voices heard and make people understand what is going down in Palestine," end quote. On Monday, there was also a March for Israel, which also had a lot of attendees. Many students expressed that they wanted people to know the conflict more than it being pro-Palestine versus pro-Israel. This has also led to some businesses in Buffalo approaching to show solidarity. The Bread Hive Bakery and Cafe in Buffalo plans to donate 5% of its October sales to the Palestine Children's Relief Fund. And the Squeaky Wheel Film and Media Arts Center is closing its doors tomorrow, October 20th, to show support for the people of Palestine.
With winter right around the corner, many are beginning to think about the Buffalo Snow Plan. Kelly McKinney, the Assistant Vice President of Emergency Management and Enterprise Resilience at NYU Langone, recently expressed his concerns on social media, calling the plan, quote, "doomed to fail," end quote, due to the city's lack of an emergency manager. Lawmakers inside City Hall are divided on the issue. Mayor Byron Brown said that he thinks the city can manage without one. After last Christmas's blizzard, the city created 2 positions, a fleet manager and an emergency manager. Neither have been filled. In the meantime, interviews are being held throughout the week in an attempt to hire people qualified for the positions. Kelly McKinney advised that you need someone to present the worst-case scenario in order to effectively plan for what might occur. However, steps have been made into the plan, including increasing the number of emergency shelters and expanding communication when storms hit.
This week, from October 23rd to the 27th, you can give back to your community when you order through Wegmans. If you order $20 or more, Wegmans will be paying it forward to the Huddle of Hunger organization, helping to fight hunger. Wegmans is also working with the Buffalo Bills for their Thursday night game. Tonight, the Bills will be donating their 50-50 raffle from the game and Wegmans Meals to Go promotion funds to their 20 hunger beneficiaries listed on Buffalo's Huddle for Hunger page. The promotion and this event will go to charities and organizations such as the Big Big Table, which is a community cafe on Hudson Street in Buffalo with the motto of pay what you can. This event is a great way to help give back to the community and help the fight against hunger.
Senate Majority Leader Charles Schumer announced Monday that the Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse will be designated as an international tech hub. This is a part of the CHIPS and Science Act passed by Congress last year. The aim is to spur the production of semiconductors in upstate New York. The hope is that this will attract new companies, bring good-paying jobs, and bring the tech industry to the states. The 3 regions will be competing for federal funding, and with this, Schumer says they are, quote, primed to be the next Silicon Valley in critical technology, end quote.
The KeyBank Center, located in downtown Buffalo, has been celebrated as the home of the Buffalo Sabres for close to 30 years. The venue has seen the high points and low points of the Sabres, raised championship banners for the Buffalo Bandits, and welcomed some of the largest names in music and entertainment. However, in the 27 years the venue has been open, there have been no substantial changes, leaving it outdated and behind the modern times. But that is about to change. In an email the Sabres have sent, they will, quote, continue working with populace to identify different areas around the arena that we can improve. The fan experience is top of our minds for the organization, and we will continue to listen to the feedback from the season ticket members and community members alike, end quote. John Sipperman, the founder of the Barnstorm Sports and Entertainment, predicts that these and others long-term upgrades to the arena could cost around $200 million. The changes will need to be made fairly quickly as Buffalo is in talks to host future marquee events, including the men's NCAA basketball tournament in 2028 and 2034.
The Buffalo-Niagara region will be celebrating Restaurant Week with the highlight of local foods as well as world flavors. This is a great way to support local businesses after the pandemic, especially the 90 restaurants that are offering deals this week to celebrate. Tuesday through Saturday, the Downtown Bazaar is offering cuisine from all over the world in a sampling format so you can try a bit of everything. Make sure to head to the Buffalo area this week to celebrate and support local and worldwide cuisine. And when we come back, your national stories. We'll be right back.
To Sofia and Gabriel, mis flores, my little flowers. Even though these old knees can't follow on your adventure to the forest today, these flowers represent my love, so you can take me with you wherever you go, near or far. These stitches and threads join us together. Me, your mother, and both of you. And wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful tree, know that my love is with you as you bring our colorful stories to the world.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly. and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
After what feels like forever, a new House Speaker has been elected. Mike Johnson was elected as the new Speaker with a unanimous vote within the GOP, with the support of all 220 Republicans in the House. Johnson is a Republican from Indiana. On Tuesday, the GOP had elected Speaker Tom Emmer, also a Republican. However, Emmer did not remain in his position for long, being ousted just 4 hours later. Johnson was the party's fourth Speaker nominee within 3 weeks, after the other candidates before Emmer removed their applications after failing to gain Republican support. Johnson has no House leadership experience. The new Speaker had laid out a plan and vows to get the House back to work.
In a ruling Tuesday morning, the Georgia Supreme Court held their 6-week abortion ban. There are some exceptions to the rule. However, when cardiac activity can be detected, abortion is banned. This decision aligns with Georgia's Life Act and upholds the constitutionality. Reproductive health and abortion care is very difficult to access in Georgia and will continue to be this way. Georgians are forced to cross state lines at a steep expense to have abortion care they desire or continue their pregnancy. There are split reactions in the state in response to the decision, with some people elated and others saying this is a deadly and inhumane ruling.
The state of Florida is asking Supreme Court to allow anti-drag laws to go in effect in Florida. Currently, for venues that allow drag shows, Florida has been issuing fines and threatening to revoke liquor licenses. Governor Ron DeSantis is claiming that the state of Florida is, quote, protecting children by banning drag shows. The Supreme Court denied Florida's proposal, stating that it violates free speech and must not be enforced.
On Monday, a huge vehicle pileup north of New Orleans caused by a dangerously thick super fog was reportedly made worse by nearby wildfires. 7 people were unfortunately killed and more than 24 others were injured in crashes involving at least 158 vehicles in the northbound and southbound lanes along a stretch of Louisiana's Interstate 55. The cause of this accident? An insanely thick and dense layer of fog, nicknamed super fog, left a mile-long stretch of crushed and charred vehicles. This super fog causes extremely low visibility and is formed when, quote, moisture in the air mixes with smoke from burning brush, leaves, and trees in swampy marshlands, end quote. To make matters worse, the state of Louisiana has been experiencing droughts, and there were multiple marsh fires burning near the site of the accident. Locals were warned to avoid this area of the highway due to these dangerous conditions and were being told to exit the highway immediately if visibility conditions got too bad.
The Screen Actors Guild and the American Federation of Television and Radio Artists is asking actors to ditch certain Halloween costumes. On Wednesday, SAG-AFTRA released guidelines on its website for striking actors who plan to celebrate the spooky holiday. The Actors Union is recommending actors choose costumes inspired by generic characters or ones from an animated television show. The group also suggested actors not post pictures of costumes inspired by striking content to social media in order to not give the studios extra publicity. SAG-AFTRA said they want to send a message to their employees that they will not promote their content without a fair contract. Last week, negotiation talks between the Guild and the Association of Motion Picture Producers fell apart. The union has been on strike since July 14th.
This past Tuesday, Taco Bell has finally won its fight towards the removal of the trademark Taco Tuesday in all 50 states. It happened when the final restaurant in New Jersey, Gregory's Restaurant and Bar in Somers Point, quote, parted ways with the phrase. Taco Bell has been working towards this for several months, battling several restaurants and chains across the states. Gregory's Restaurant and Bar fought over the phrase as it brought a lot of pride to the restaurant for being a tradition there for over 40 years. Trademark attorney Josh Gerben added that it was the right move to forfeit the trademark as it would have been quote, an extreme burden for any small business to bear, end quote. As for the legal fees for the phrase would be at least $100,000. Taco Bell is giving New Jersey members in its app-based loyalty program free Doritos Locos Tacos on November 21st in celebration of the surrender of the phrase of its smaller competitor. Taco Bell fought against the release of the trademark phrase as it wanted to give any and all restaurants the ability to use and celebrate the phrase Taco Tuesday. Taco Bell added that the phrase, quote, should be freely available to all who make, sell, eat, and celebrate tacos without fear of legal repercussion, end quote. And when we come back, Jenna Polito joins us for our sports update and your first weather report.
This one's for the real ballers and shot callers, the sisterhood of women in tech. They're discovering cures, building apps, and programming the blockchain. They're CEOs, worldwide hustlers who can make it rain. They're tearing down the old boys club and seeing big gains. Because when women in tech come together, you know they make that change.
Every day,
millions of people are connecting.
And even though we're overcoming obstacles,
watching each other's backs,
and banding together,
we should still make an effort.
To get to know each other
on a deeper level.
Father,
cosplayer,
mentor,
actor.
It's time we take a step forward.
It's time we take a step forward.
Come together
and discover
how accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
How prepared is your family if a hurricane shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a blizzard? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
Let's go.
you'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes.
Make a plan today.
We are now joined by Jenna Polito, who will be giving us our weekly sports update. What's going on in sports, Jenna?
With the fall season sports coming to an end, a couple of our SUNY Fredonia athletics finished up their final games over last weekend, along with our winter sports starting to get underway. The women's soccer team finished their season off last Saturday against New Paltz. The girls were looking to end off their season strong, and they did just that, taking a 1-0 win against the New Paltz. It was a hard-fought game as the lone goal scorer for the Blue Devils was Gabrielle Irwin, with the assist coming from Hannah Retzer. The girls finished their season with an overall record of 6-8-2 and finished their conference with a record of 3-5-1. They missed the SUNYAC tournament by 2 points and look to come back stronger and better next year. The men's soccer team finished out their season last Saturday against New Paltz as well. The boys fought hard, but the game resulted in a 3-0 loss for the Devils. The boys finished their season with an overall record of 5-8-4 and a conference record of 1-7. The women's volleyball team played against the Oswego Lakers last Saturday at home in a long and hard fought match. And they will be finishing out their season next Saturday against the Carnegie Mellon. The Fredonia men's hockey team is underway as they played an exhibition game last Friday against their Eastern hockey team, resulting in a 3-2 overtime win. They played another exhibition game against Buff State on Saturday that resulted in a 2-2 tie. The boys look to start the year strong this weekend as they travel to Angola, Indiana to take on Trine, and next weekend they start the SUNYAC Conference. Good luck to the boys this season. The Buffalo Sabres have completed 7 games so far and have a current record of 3-4-0. Yesterday, the team traveled to Ottawa to take on the Senators in a divisional matchup. The team fought hard and played a really good game, with Jeff Skinner scoring 2 goals, Tage Thompson scoring 2 goals, and Alex Tuck finally getting on the board with 1. The last goal was scored by Sabres assistant captain Zemis Girgensons. The game ended in a big 6-4 win for the Sabres as they started the season a little bit slow but have been picking up the pace. They look to keep the winning streak alive as they travel to New Jersey tomorrow to take on the Devils. And the Buffalo Bills travel to Foxborough, Massachusetts this past Sunday to take on a divisional rival, the New England Patriots. After losing a couple of great players on the defensive side, the boys need to step up big in order to take the win. It was a very back-and-forth game that ended up resulting in the Patriots taking the win 29-25.
The Bills lost a couple of players, but they still played a good game, with quarterback Josh Allen throwing for 265 yards with 2 passing touchdowns. Running back James Cook had 13 carries for a total of 56 yards, and rookie tight end Dalton Kincaid stepped up huge in this game as he had 8 receptions for a total of 75 yards. The Bills sit at a record of 4-3 and look to get back into the winning column with a primetime game tonight at 8:15 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
So you mentioned a little bit about the Buffalo Sabres, and I know that you went to a game, what was it, this past weekend?
Yes, this past Saturday we had a game. It was against the New York Islanders. It was our first Goat-Head jersey game, and Alex Tuck got in a little bit of a fight, and those are always really fun to see.
All right, I feel like I would be a little bit scared if I was watching. I don't know if there was a big fight happening, but anyway. But besides that, we are now joined by Rosemary for our weather. This is Rosemary's first time on News 11. So what do you have for your first forecast?
Let's take a look at what the weather will look like in the next upcoming days. Tonight, the temperature will drop down to 63 degrees after a warm, sunny day. Tomorrow will be similar to today with a high of 73 and a low of 60. Still partly sunny, but with a chance of slight drizzles. Temperatures are going to drop on Saturday and Sunday, so stay tuned for your next weekend forecast.
Thank you so much. And when we come back, we will have your international headlines. We'll be right back.
To Sofia and Gabriel, Miss Flores, my little flowers. Even though these old knees can't follow on your adventure to the forest today, these flowers represent my love, so you can take me with you wherever you go, near or far. These stitches and threads join us together. Me, your mother, and both of you. And wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful tree, know that my love is with you as you bring our colorful stories to the world.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
Here is an update on the ongoing conflict between Israel and Palestine. The United Nations agency that is currently working in Gaza said it is being forced to halt operations later today. The standstill comes as there is a lack of fuel, which is further complicating the humanitarian crisis. Israel has blocked visas for United Nations officials following conflicts made by Secretary General Antonio Guterres. Guterres wanted a ceasefire and said, quote, clear violations of international humanitarian law were happening in Gaza, end quote. The queen of the country, Jordan Reina, is accusing Western leaders of, quote, glaring double standard for failing to condemn the deaths of civilians in Gaza, end quote. U.S. military advisors are currently urging the country of Israel to avoid an all-out ground assault. Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu appeared to tell soldiers on Tuesday that a ground offensive was still on track. These updates are as reported by CNN journalists. Visit www.cnn.com for further updates.
On Tuesday, October 24th, tens of thousands of women protested at the capital of Iceland. They protested for equal gender pay and against gender-based violence. On the same day, nearly 50 years ago, 90% of women in Iceland stood in the same spot protesting for gender equality. Nearly 40 organizations, including the Federation of the Public Workers Union, joined the protest. Women and non-binary people were encouraged to leave work for a full day to join the walkout. Women were encouraged to avoid any pay or unpaid work for the entire day. Nearly 25,000 women and non-binary people showed up to the protest.
A sign that winter is coming has just showed up in Alberta, Canada. Snow is reported to hit the skies of Alberta this Sunday and moving into Monday of next week. Although the exact amount of snowfall will vary across the province, central Alberta is expected to see 2 to 5 centimeters of snow. Southern Alberta, however, will see larger amounts of snow within 5 to 15 centimeters of snow between Monday and Tuesday. Residents are recommended to keep an eye on road conditions and should prepare to adjust driving. Now when we come back, your trending stories plus Rosemary will give us a look at our weekend weather. We'll be right back.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Players of the highly anticipated video game Marvel's Spider-Man 2 quickly took to social media after realizing the Cuban flag was used in a couple scenes instead of the Puerto Rican flag. The main character, Miles Morales, is seen by fans as one of the few Latino mainstream superheroes, and his new video game was meant to celebrate his Puerto Rican ethnicity. When Insomniac Games released the new PlayStation 5 game, there were at least 2 scenes included in which the Puerto Rican and Cuban flags were switched up. The Cuban flag can first be seen in Morales' Spanish Harlem family home, where the flag is displayed. The flag makes a second appearance in a street scene later on in the game. However, the Puerto Rican flag is correctly featured in other parts of the game, such as multiple spider suit designs and in some traditional dishes involving Puerto Rican culture. The company is reportedly working to fix this mistake.
Tyler Perry has a new multi-year deal with Netflix. It is believed that his deal is for him to write, direct, and produce feature films. It cites WNYF Ari Emanuel speaking at Bloomberg's Media's Screen Time conference this month. Perry says he's waiting for a formal announcement before confirming the news, but he does say Netflix is a great partner. He already has 2 projects in the works with the streaming service.
The classic children's book Where the Wild Things Are is getting a new version of its audiobook. The narrator? No other than former First Lady Michelle Obama. HarperCollins publisher announced on Tuesday that the audio download will be available on purchase October 31st, which happens to be the 60th anniversary of the book's original release date. The former First Lady seems to be the perfect choice for the narration as she has been known to be a fan of the book. In 2016, her and then President Barack Obama acted out the classic picture book for an Easter event at the South Lawn of the White House. So, we briefly talked about the Sabres game with Jenna, but I know that you were also at the same game or at a different game.
I was also at the same game.
Tell
me
me
and
about
Jenna actually met up and we saw each other and we got our little free Let's Go Buffalo flags.
That's very
and
exciting.
Me and Brent, our predictions remain true that every game we go to, they win. So if you want the Sabres to keep winning, keep buying me and Brent tickets. That's all I'm going to say.
That's a very good incentive.
All right, and I'm currently overheating in this sweater, but I'm wearing it to manifest cold weather this weekend because I'm sick of hot weather. So let's go over to Rosie and see what our weekend weather is this weekend. Rosie, how's it looking over there?
If you're celebrating Halloween weekend, Saturday is the best day to do so. The rain will pick back up on Sunday with a high of 53 and a low of 45. Monday will look a lot like Sunday, even chillier with a high of 49 and a low of 38.
That's a little too cold for me. I think just
That's
this weekend,
what I like to hear.
I can do one more weekend of warm weather, and then November, I'll start listening to my holiday music, and I'll be okay with the cold.
I think it'll be good.
days.
I think it'll be good for Halloween weekend, but I'm so ready for cold weather. Like fall, not winter though.
Okay, well, I can take that.
Yeah.
I can agree with you on that. So that does it for News 11. Thank you so much to our behind the scenes crew, and we'll be back next Thursday.
And of course, thank you to everyone watching at home. Have a great night.